Still in part 6. Let's talk about the 1960s, how style tribes emerged. So, factors affecting dress. The Japanese production was cheaper and more efficient due to new technologies. They were known to produce high quality products with high performance standards. Their textiles were utilized by American and European clothing firms. Their high quality and natural synthetic textiles were quite sought after. The impact of social change on fashion. Street style. Street style was a subcultural dress which generally originated by youth who gathered in groups on the streets. These groups were referred to as style tribes. The intent was to make a statement about being different from mainstream. They gave the fashion industry new style ideas. Mods and rockers. This was groups of youth in Britain. Mods had a look of elegance with their long hair, granny glasses, and Edwardian ornament. The Beatles music group helped the spread of the mod style. Rockers rode motorcycles and wore black leather jackets. Hippies. Hippies wore colorful, tie-dyed garments, often creating outfits using their thrift store purchases. Men and women had long hair. Men wore beards, headbands, and what was called love beads. Women wore long skirts and romantic dresses. The Peacock Revolution was known as fancy colored and style garments for men that began to appear within stores. Anti-war protests and the adoption of jeans. Jeans became an art medium for youth. They often embroidered them, put patches and messages on their jeans as a form of self-expression. The women's movement. Dress reform was supported by feminists, some who saw clothing as a symbol of oppression. Corsets were no longer widely worn. Underclothing was now less confining. Some wore similar garments to that of men, such as jeans, t-shirts, and pantsuits. The Civil Rights Movement. African dress was adopted by some. Dashikis, which were collarless, wide shirts with kimono-style sleeves, were worn. Kaftans, which were similar to dashikis, but they were longer in length. Garments made from traditional textiles such as kente cloth, mud cloth, tie-dye fabrics, and handsome embroideries created African American-like styles. African American men and women wore afros. Traditional African jewelry was also worn. African American models now began to appear in high fashion magazines. Anne Cole, who was an African American designer, was one of the first African American fashion designers to rise to the top level of fashion design. She designed John F. Kennedy's wife's wedding gown. Other influences in fashion. The White House. Jacqueline Kennedy, or Jackie O, was a major influence on fashion. Styles associated with Jackie O include the bouffant hairstyle and pillbox hats, A-line skirts and empire-style evening dresses, low-slung pumps, and wraparound sunglasses. The space age. Some fashions reflected aerospace. Velcro became more popular when it was used by Apollo astronauts in order to secure their pens, food packets, and equipment so that it would not float away while they were in space. The fine arts. Optical art, better known as op art, and popular art, better known as pop art, appeared. Pop art glorified representations of original objects like soda cans and cartoon figures, while op art was created using mainly large geometric patterns. YSL's Mondrian dress was inspired by the work of Dutch painter Mondrian. It was widely copied throughout the industry during this time period. The changing fashion industry, fashion change theories. The trickle down theory. So, fashion moves from the top socioeconomic class to the lower socioeconomic class. The bottom up theory says that fashion moves from the lower socioeconomic class to the top socioeconomic class. Attempts to curb fashion changes. Change can make some people feel threatened. As a result of change, those who feel threatened often discriminated against those who express style that was outside of what the mainstream wore. Authority was challenged by the kids with long hair, African Americans in dashikis and afros, and women in pantsuits, as well as girls in shorts and short skirts. Rules were created as an attempt to curb these changes. Such rules included dress codes such as women could not wear pants to work, or they were not allowed into fancy restaurants with pantsuits on. African Americans were often taunted. Changes in fashion design. Successful designers included YSL, Pierre Cardin, Andre Kyrgios, and Emmanuel Ungaro. Ready to wear was also very popular during this period among successful designers. Menswear designers included Pierre Cardin, who began his designing for men in 1957. John White, who opened a men's boutique in 1965. Costume components for women. Garments. Mini skirts stopped as high as 2 inches above the knee. Micro mini skirts were the shortest of the skirts. Maxi skirts were full-length skirts, but they were not widely worn until several years later. Jeans were a mainstream fashion item by the 1960s. Hot pants were very short pants, and pantyhose was a necessity as skirts shortened. Body stockings were body-length knitted stretch underwear. Body suits were similar to that of body stockings, but they ended at the top of the leg. They were designed to be worn with the top visible. Leotards were the ancestor of body stockings and body suits. They were two-piece knitted body-hugging garments. The paper dress, which was popular from 1966 to 1968, was produced by Scott Paper Company. Palazzo pajamas were wide-leg pants made of soft fabric. Sportswear. Poor boy sweaters, which was a popular sweater style that was tightly fitted, had a rib knit style that appeared to have shrunk. Outdoor garments included ponchos, which were in short lengths, and vinyl-coated fabrics for rain wear. Clothing for active sports included monokinis, which were introduced by designer Rudy Gernrich, or topless bathing suits. Unitards are one-piece, sleek ski jumpsuits that were worn. Sleepwear included short-legged pajamas and short nightgowns. Hair and headdress included the bouffant style, which was popular in the early 1960s, and then long straight hair, which became popular in the mid-1960s. The geometric cut, which was also popularized by Vidal Sassoon, was also popular during that period. Footwear included seamless stockings, colored or textured, as well as pantyhose or tights that were worn with short skirts. Knee-length socks were worn with mini skirts. Heels were now lowered, and a variety of boot styles were worn as part of daytime dress. Accessories included small tailored bags, very large bags, and also shoulder bags. Jewelry worn was long strings of pearls and costume jewelry. Colorful plastic jewelry in geometric shapes was also worn, along with gold chains. Cosmetics included lipsticks in lighter, paler colors. Mascara, eyeliner, and eyeshadow were available in a wide variety of colors. False eyelashes were also worn. Costume components for men. Garments. Modcloths were worn. Nehru jackets, which was a suit jacket based on a traditional Indian jacket that buttoned to the neck and had a small stand-up collar. This jacket was named after the Prime Minister of India, Nehru. Body shirts, which were shirts cut and seamed to flow with the body lines, were also popular during this time. Outdoor garments included coats and jackets that were cut shorter. Safari jackets were single-breasted belted jackets with peak lapels and 4 bellow pockets. This was worn as sportswear. Clothing for active sports included the slip, which was a knit bikini for men. Sleepwear that was worn were pajamas. Men wore their hair moderately long, and they also had beards, mustaches, and sideburns. Footwear were high shoes, boots, and sandals. Most shoes had square toes. Accessories worn by men included the 3-inch wide ties, which was popularized by Ralph Lauren in 1967. Jewelry included necklaces, bracelets, and earrings. Costume components for children. Infants and toddlers wore basic garments such as onesies. Disposable diapers were also now available. There was a big emphasis on comfort and safety for toddlers. Preschool and school-age children wore styles that had military influences. They also wore mod and hippie styles. Fabrics that were easy to care for, washable, and required minimal ironing were popular during this period. Girls. The silhouettes of girls' clothing mimicked that of women. Various pant styles were available to choose from. Adolescent girls wore go-go boots, which were white calf-length boots. Boys' silhouettes mimicked that of men. The Nehru-style suits and mod suits were also worn. Hair was worn long.